Hello everyone, my name is Louise and I am a part of the sales and distribution team for our for Coral Expeditions, and I am coming to you live from our head office up in Cairns. Unfortunately, it is not sunny today, as beautiful on the weekend, but today has come over with some rain, but we needed it, the plants needed it. I'm going to let you know we are recording today's webinar, and we will send a recorded version to everyone that's registered, so you can share this with your friends and family as well if you like. I also just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone for taking the time to join our Kimberley webinar today, and we'll have an opportunity for questions at the end. Again, same process, just up in that little chat box in the top left, so you should be able to see it. Now, today's focus is going to take you on a journey with Coral Expeditions, and that's to give you an insight on how to explore the Kimberley's vast and rugged coastlines the Australian way. So for those of you that are new to Coral Expeditions, we have operated now for 40 years and always with a single purpose. That's to take small groups of like-minded explorers to remote places with our expert guidance and our warm Australian hospitality. So let's get into it. So Coral Expeditions has been visiting the Kimberley now for 35 consecutive years. So in the 90s, we completed our first ever Kimberley voyage, and that was the first ever expedition cruise to operate and explore the region. So being one of the original Australian flagged expedition pioneers, this has allowed us to really curate the perfect expedition cruise that the Kimberley really has to offer. So September last year, so September of 2023, that wrapped up our Kimberley season with a total of 52 departures, and that hosted over 4,000 passengers. So across all of those people, we are really proud to announce that we achieved an excellent overall satisfaction with 5 out of 5 ratings from 96% of our guest feedback. So we're really proud of that. So for 4 decades, with 4 decades of experience, we do take you into the right places at the right time. We know the tides, we know all the secret little spots. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. We'll take you to the right place at the right time. And we do it in true expedition style. So small passenger numbers means that we don't lose that intimacy of the adventure or overwhelm those communities that we're visiting. So with under 120 guests across the fleet, this will keep it small and personal, and the ships have been designed for comfort after a long day of exploring. So being true expedition cruising, we do have flexible itineraries and more time ashore, which allows us to go at a slower pace for those seeking to really connect with nature, culture, and community. So when you're on board or your clients are on board, what can they expect? They will have our warm, relaxed Australian hospitality. So all of our vessels are Australian flagged, which means we really get to spend more time in the Kimberley focusing on the destination. We don't need to spend your valuable time travelling into international waters like many of the foreign lines do. So our vessels are operated by Australian and New Zealand crew, and you'll really get to experience the ultimate warm Australian hospitality throughout the voyage. So whether that's enjoying an ice cold beer or glass of wine on Miranda Beach with sand between your toes during sunset, or it might be on board our vessel where we encourage a natural Australian style service and a really open interaction between our guests and our crew. So if you're wanting to go and watch your dinner being prepared by local ingredients by our chefs, you can do that. We have an open galley policy. You might like to head up into the bridge and chat with the captain, have your morning coffee, or you might like to join our guest lecturers at mealtime. So you can sit up when we're having breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Our guest lecturers will alternate tables every day, and you get to sit with them and really pick their brains. You might just want to simply sit back and relax, read a book, enjoy the views in one of our fresco areas around the ship. And we are all inclusive. So once you're on board, you unpack once, you can enjoy your expeditions, and you don't have to worry about any hidden surprises at the end. So speaking of guides, having guided expeditions in the region for over 3 decades, we know the hidden gems that a lot of others don't. Our expedition team provide local expertise, and they have a really strong understanding of those unique landscapes, flora and fauna, and the Indigenous cultures of the regions that we're visiting. So our passionate expedition leaders are on board, and they take our guests on every excursion. We don't hand over to land-based tour companies. We do it all ourselves. We take you everywhere that we go. We also get to spend more time on excursions. So with more time ashore, with 2 shore excursions daily where possible. The shore excursions generally have 2 options. In the Kimberley or any of the land-based excursions will be walking on uneven ground. The walks are never more than 1 to 2 kilometres, and we do recommend bringing your walking poles for stability on the rocky or sandy surfaces. There is always an option for everyone, and if you don't feel comfortable walking, you can stay on board one of our explorers and do a coastal cruise. So the expedition team will do a daily briefing, usually over sunset drinks, and that gives you an overview for what's on the agenda for the next day. This is a really good opportunity to talk with them and ask any questions you may have about the next day activities, and tell them if you've got any concerns or worries, and they will tell you which one will be best suited, or they'll come up with something for you to do. So Coral Expeditions was one of the first cruise operators to employ interpretive guides on our cruises, and that's a tradition that we still continue today. We think this is really important and a really important part of expedition cruising. So each trip includes a mixture of our full-time guest lecturers who join the expedition team, and then we've got our special guest lecturers who are chosen for their specific local knowledge. So they really help immerse our guests into the unique wildlife, the cultures, the flora and the fauna, and the history and the environments that we're visiting, and that's a really big part of expedition cruising. So our 3 Australian flagged expedition ships are designed for subtropical climates. They feature wraparound decks, they've got private balconies on some of our staterooms and outdoor dining areas so you can enjoy the famous Kimberley sunsets. The shallow draft and high manoeuvrability of our purposely designed expedition ships, they'll let you get closer to explore the sheltered bays and the hidden inlets that are just inaccessible to those larger ships. So these have been purpose-built by us for us. So this is our Coral Discoverer. She is our yacht-like vessel, and she has 36 staterooms and a maximum of 72 passengers. She is loved by our loyal regulars for that intimate feel in the smaller numbers. She is 15 years old this year. She has undergone lots of refurbishments, and she comes back to Cairns, our home port, every year and gets lots of love. So all rooms are outward facing and can be set up for twin or junior king beds, and we do have the option for sole use as well. Then we've got our Coral Adventurer. We got her in 2019, 60 staterooms with 120 passengers on this one. Very familiar design across all 3 ships built for expeditions. There are a range of lovely indoor and outdoor dining seating areas to enjoy the views, and again, the rooms are all outward facing. And then we've got our Geographer, the sister ship to our Coral Adventurer. So same amount of numbers, same promenade, wraparound promenade deck, all outward facing again. The only difference with this one is that she has a lift that goes all the way to the top of the Vista deck and a long range fuel tank. So she does lots of our international trips. There is a gym as well. And I did mention the lift, but how you do still need to have reasonable level of mobility to be able to take the stairs in the event of an emergency. So on board all 3 of our vessels, we carry our explorers. We like to call these the safari jeeps of the sea. And these were purposely built for our ships and for our clients. And I think we're the only people in the Kimberley that do this. So it is definitely something, and really an amazing part to our excursions. It just makes everything so comfortable. So as you can see in the top right picture, you can see our guests climbing over or just walking over a little boardwalk, and that's from the back of our deck onto our explorers. So there's no climbing over, you just walk across. Once you're seated in your chair, it has a nice back on it, so you're not sitting on those bench seats in the Zodiacs all day. You take a seat, and then it's lowered down, like in that bottom right picture, on a hydraulic platform, and it's off in under 5 minutes. It is so simple, super safe. It's amazing. You can see in the pictures as well that it does have a roof, which is perfect for the Kimberley sun. It does get very hot, so it is nice to have the roof for some shade. It also has a toilet on board for remote convenience. It has audio systems, so you can have clear commentary along the way. We're not having to pull over, do a bit of commentary, and then take off again. We can do it along the way. It also has clears that come down the side, so if we do run into some rain or some wind, so we can put the clears down and we're going to be comfortable. It also fits the full ship's capacity, so no one's left behind and everyone gets to go out together. And the last part I want to mention is the front of the Explorers. In the top left picture there, you can see our guests walking off the Explorers on what we call a wet landing. It's a simple little ramp, and our team stands on either side and gently guide you off the Explorer. It is super easy. So yes, a massive highlight to your trip. And yeah, it is. We love our Explorers. We do still have our Zodiacs. It is another exciting and flexible option for shore excursions, and they help navigate those narrow inlets. They always go side by side, our Explorers as well. So we're never in them for too long just because of that hot Kimberley sun. Now, we do offer 3 really fantastic itineraries to the Kimberley region. So the Kimberley cruise, it's a 10 nights departing Darwin or Broome, and it covers the main icons of the Kimberley. We depart April through to September with all 3 of our vessels in the region every year. A frequently asked question that we get is which direction should I do, and it honestly does not matter. The Kimberley has a lot of scattered islands, therefore, whichever side of the ship, and with the moving tides and all the beautiful outdoor areas that we have on our ships, you're always going to have a spectacular view. So whether you start in Darwin or Broome, you're going to start and end with the highlight and then have plenty of highlights in between, I promise you that. We also have another 10-night Kimberley voyage. However, this one is an arts and culture themed itinerary. Very similar itinerary to the 10 nights Kimberley cruise. However, this one there'll be an opportunity to visit the art centres where you can purchase traditional and contemporary art directly from the source, as well as have hand-selected guest lecturers who will share their knowledge on the cultures and the traditions of the local communities along the way. So this Kimberley itinerary really is an added bonus with getting the visit to the Tiwi Islands as well as the main Kimberley icons as well. Then our third itinerary of our Kimberley series is our Kimberley Icons, which is a 12 nights and departs Darwin and Broome in September only. This itinerary combines our classic 10-night Kimberley itinerary and then a visit to the spectacular Roller Shoals Marine Park and Ashmore Reef. So this is a really good one for a little added extra as well. So this will give you the opportunity to snorkel or dive. Diving is an optional extra, but that is at some of the world's best marine parks, which are home to over 200 species of coral and about 700 species of fish. So many aren't found on other coral reefs, so it is a really great opportunity if you are into diving or snorkeling. So some of the highlights on our Kimberley expeditions include King George Falls or Umari Falls. It's Western Australia's highest twin waterfall. Before we reach the falls, you'll get to enjoy a scenic cruise in our Explorers up King George River, where you'll be mesmerised by the orange sandstone cliffs, which just frame the river. It's beautiful. We were really lucky, and we were lucky enough to cruise up the river at sunrise, which made the colours of the emerald green water and the orange cliffs an incredible experience. Once we've reached the falls, you could take the option to get closer to the 80-metre waterfall by transferring into our Zodiacs. And for the brave or the crazy people like myself, you can get a very close look and go under the falls, which was just incredible experience and so much fun. There was lots of laughs on board. But there'll be a few opportunities along the trip to have what we call a Kimberley shower. So make sure you pack your swimmers. So then we also visit Vansittart Bay, which is amazing. So the Kimberley is a great place to view multiple rock art galleries, including Jar Island rock galleries, where you'll get to view the Gwion rock art. There we will have walking options. They range from easy, medium and hard, so everyone's able to experience this artwork and learn the stories at your own pace. It was really mind-blowing to learn the stories behind the art creations, and to be able to see in real life was a real privilege. So in the afternoon, after visiting the artworks, we do head out on the Explorer to Anjo Peninsula, where we got out and we got to explore the C-53 plane wreck, whilst our guest lecturer, Quinton, educated us on the remarkable survival stories of the US Air Force. So while we're here, we got to stretch our legs and explore the surrounding salt flats, searching for bees, birds, crabs, wildflowers and the boab trees. And to finish off another really amazing day, on the way back to our ship, we were surrounded by dolphins. So our short trip back to in the Explorer turned into a dolphin cruise, which was a really nice surprise. And that's what I mean when we have flexible itineraries, that if something in nature does present itself, we can stop, sit and watch. And yeah, we're not being rushed back to the ship for the next thing. So Mitchell Falls is accessed by a scenic heli flight from a remote beach in Prince Frederick Harbour, which is close to the ship, where you'll be tended in our Zodiacs or our Explorers to the helicopter. The flight is approximately 20 minutes each way, and the door's off for an added adventure. You will have about an hour at the top of the falls to do a short walk to the lookout and go for a little dip if there's water there. The helicopter can be booked on board with our expedition team, roughly about $890 per person. It is an extra. It's not included in the cruise, unfortunately, but it is an incredible experience, and I would highly recommend doing this. It's a spectacular way to see the Kimberley by air. So this was a really big highlight for many of the guests on my trip, and I do recommend packing a lanyard or a strap that you can put your phone or camera in, as it is doors off, like I said. So for those of you that opt to not do the heli, you'll get to enjoy a cruise up Porosis Creek to spot wildlife. Porosis Creek is located in Prince Frederick Harbour, which is one of the Kimberley's most spectacular locations. So the harbour is dotted with islands lined with mangroves and monsoon rainforests. So make sure you pack your binoculars. In their mangroves, it's a perfect hiding spot for crocodiles and bird life. So you'll see heaps of wildlife while you're out. White-bellied sea eagles and other birds of prey are often seen here at low tide. Expensive mud flats reveal large populations of mud skippers and mangrove crabs. We do aim for 2 shore excursions daily. So the guests that did the heli in the morning will get a chance to cruise up Parosis Creek as well in the afternoon. And it's another opportunity for our guests to go up the creek on the opposite tide and search for that wildlife. So King Cascades is reached via Prince Regent River. And here you will enjoy a leisurely cruise in the Explorer. It's a good opportunity to spot bird life and explore some, and hopefully see some crocodiles. We were lucky enough to see a croc greet us at the entrance of the cascade. The cruise up the river is approximately 27 kilometres. Therefore, we are one of the small handful of operators that can actually visit them at this beautiful spot due to the comfort and power of our Explorer tenders. It's just simply too far to travel up this creek in Zodiac, so that's where our Explorers come in really handy. King Cascades is beautiful. It's terraced waterfall. It's one of the most photographed in the Kimberley. So falling from a considerable height, water tumbles down, staggers down the terrace of some Kimberley sandstone, which just has layers of moss and ferns, and it looks like a beautiful hanging garden. So the Explorers will nose right into the cascades and give everyone the chance to have another Kimberley shower. So make sure you pack your swimmers. And our crew will always have nice fresh towels on the Explorers for you afterwards. You might want to take a windproof jacket. It can get a little bit fresh on your way back with the wind after you've had your shower. Right, so a significant site in the early history of Australia, Philip Parker King named Kering Bay after he beached his leaking vessel HMC Mermaid to do repairs. So while stranded on this remote coastline for 17 days, the ship's carpenter carved HMC Mermaid 1820 into the bottle-shaped trunk of a baobab tree near the beach. 200 years later, the Mermaid baobab tree has since split into 2 trunks, and it's about 12 metres wide now. There is a beautiful beach walk near the backwater, which is a great opportunity to stretch your legs and view a local boa bird's nest before returning to the ship. Montgomery Falls appears twice a day as the sea resides in a massive 11-metre tides. These are some of the biggest tides in the world. We did set our alarms really early and we head off at dawn to witness the reef emerging at sunrise. As the tide falls, Montgomery Reef rises from the ocean in a cascade of rushing water, revealing a flat-top reef. We cruise along the inlet in the Explorers, whilst guests take the opportunity to transfer into Zodiacs, and that's to get a closer look at the water gushing off the reef and at the bird life taking advantage of those emerging reefs as well. Part of the Kimberley cruise is spent enjoying sunset drinks on a remote beach location, and depending on the tides during your voyage, you may get to enjoy a sunset drink on a nearby sand cay overlooking Monty Reef, and this is what we did. So everyone on board were having so much fun on the sand cay dancing to ABBA, didn't want to leave. It was a great way to finish just another amazing day in the Kimberley. The Horizontal Falls was honestly one of the best things I've ever done. Even just to witness the faces of our guests coming back from their adventure through the falls was so uplifting, and the whole ship was just buzzing on adrenaline. We had skipper Adam who led us through the falls on one of our Zodiacs. Adam made us all feel like we were really in safe hands, explained everything thoroughly, and most of all gave us an epic experience. Even our eldest guest on board, who were in their mid-80s, got to experience this once in a lifetime opportunity and were asking to go again and again. We even had a few fist pumps from them on the way back, and as we walked along the red carpet, which is laid out for your protection, but it really makes you feel like a celebrity after you return from your adventure through the falls. So we do have Zodiacs with our Explorer team just as you're about to head into the falls to capture your photos. You won't need to worry about holding onto your camera. And as you go through, it can be a bit bumpy, and you can really enjoy the experience. A little tip for you, the ship will be anchored in Talbot Bay, not far from the falls, so make sure you look over the side of the ship at night time and say hello to the little tawny sharks. They really like to hang around the ships at night time and they get attracted to the lights. So when I was on board, I think there was about 50 sharks hanging around the lights, and it was really amazing. That was a really good day in the Kimberley. Nares Point is a really great example of the incredible rock formations that you'll witness plenty of throughout the Kimberley voyage. So if you are a rock enthusiast, you will be in heaven. So to get to Nares Point, you'll enjoy a cruise to the Whirlpool Tides, which is really famous in the Kimberley, and learn the stories of the sailors and the challenges that they had over the years navigating the extreme tides of the Kimberley. There's a really beautiful beach nearby to Nares Point where you can beachcomb and search for microbats in caves and coral footprints and native flowers. That's a really beautiful day. So Lassipede Islands is subject to weather and tides, whether we visit the Lassipede Islands. The Low Islands are a nature reserve and a really important bird area, supporting up to about 18,000 breeding pairs of brown boobies, as well as a significant breeding area for the green sea turtles. So we explore the island's lagoons by the Zodiac and explorers, and that's to spot many species of birds and marine life. I've never seen so many turtles in the same place at one time. We've also had reports this year that a crocodile has been hanging around and recently got caught on camera feasting on a deceased turtle. So make sure you have your cameras ready if you are going to visit the Lassipede Islands. The Kimberley is definitely not short on wildlife. There'll be countless of opportunities to spot white-bellied sea eagles and other birds of prey. During low tide at Process Creek, which I mentioned earlier, is home to abundance of wildlife. Crocodiles frequent these waters, and you will often find mud skippers and mangrove crabs on the mud flaps. Seasons in the Kimberley are the waterfall seasons, which is generally March to May. However, due to rain this year, we were lucky enough to have it a little bit longer. Then May to July is the dry season when the weather is cooler and the landscape colours are really a vibrant green. And then there's whale season, which is July to October, so currently. And it's the best time to sight humpback whales, which migrate to the Kimberley waters. And we've had some beautiful pictures come back so far this year of the whales there. It's just been incredible. They've been really lucky on their trips this year. So definitely recommend if you love whales. But that is bringing us to the end of our Kimberley journey. If you do have a look at the top of your screen, you'll get to see that chat icon. Please pop your questions in there and I'll try and answer them all. While you're popping your questions in there, I will just sum up what we've covered today. And that at Coral Expeditions, we've built our reputation on offering a truly immersive and authentic expedition experience. And it is more relevant today than ever, and it really sets us apart from the pack. So we focus on the destination. We have a true expedition ethos. We have warm Australian hospitality, our purpose-built ships, and our unique explorer tenders. Our local expertise that is unrivaled. We are all-inclusive, and most important, we are Australian-owned, operated, and flagged. So please pop your questions in. If you did join late or you'd like to watch this webinar again or send it to some friends and family, we will send a recorded version out to everyone that's registered. So this usually does take 24 to 48 hours to get the versions out to you. We have just released our new Kimberley guide. It will provide details on the fleet, highlights of the voyages and maps, and celebrates exploring the region with an Australian-owned operator. We also have for 2025 at the moment our Explorer package that is available for our 2025 dates in our Explorer rooms. There's more details on our website or chat to your travel agent, but it'll include your flights, your cruise, accommodation and transfers. But I'm just going to go back to my little screen here and see if I can see any questions. All right, got a couple little ones in here. Does a ship sail overnight or stay anchored? That differs from day to day. Sometimes we will move at night time if we've got quite a distance to go. And then that way we've got more time during the days to do our expeditions, to go on to do our shore excursions. Ross said, what is the amount of the single supplement? I do believe it's 1.5, Ross, but we'll have to check in with our reservations team. And I know some of our dates at the moment do have a sole supplement waiver. So yes, call our reservations team or please go and see your travel agent. They'll be able to help you as well. Some of the other questions that we get a lot of is for wet landings, what shoes should I bring for wet landings? So we do recommend bringing sandals, or thongs. You can take them off and pop them in your bag and then put your walking shoes on, but lots of people wear those Teva sandals. They're really good for wet landings. David and Wendy have said, is there a pool on board? No, unfortunately, we don't have a pool on board, but we're really not on board a whole lot during the day to need the pool. There is some opportunities throughout the Kimberley that we can have a swim. So we're usually at the bottom of a little waterfall where it's safe from crocs. So yeah, so will be opportunities to swim, but unfortunately, no, there's not a pool on board. There's another one. Do you know the name of a team leader and guest speakers for September 10 departure? I don't know them off the top of my head at all, Patricia. I'm really sorry. But if you reach out to the reservations team, they'll be able to tell you. Their details are on the screen. They have a roster on who's going to be on that departure. How close to the boat can the taxi bring us at Darwin Fort Hill Wharf? So the taxi does drop you off right at the clearance stage of the wharf, and then I believe it's just a short walk. I don't think it's far at all. Thanks, Stephen. It's nice. Marjorie, are we able to ocean swim off the boat? We don't ocean swim in the Kimberley, no, because there's just too many crocodiles and it's too risky. There is one little bit of a beach that sometimes on the perfect day, we never promise that it's going to happen, but on the perfect day, it is crystal clear blue water. And our explorer tenders will sit right at the back in our Zodiacs, and they'll monitor the waters, and you can have a very quick dip. But no, we don't do ocean swims in the Kimberley. I'm sorry. What else have we got? We've got lots of questions today. It's great. We are looking forward to our Kimberley cruise on the 6th of September. Oh, I'm so glad, Stephen. You guys are going to absolutely love it. Leanne, is there a limit of camera equipment? No, not really. Not on board. In your cabins are quite big, so you can store all your stuff. There's a perfect spot under the bed. It's a really nice. It's about a suitcase width. My suitcase fit perfectly under the bed. So yeah, plenty of places to store it, so it's not super cramped in your room. But I would just be mindful when you're going on the Explorers that you don't have really big cameras that might get in the way of some other people, depending on how much you're going to take. But no, and of course I would check with your airline that you're going to fly with as well what their limits are. I hope that answers your question, Leanne. Is there any more questions? All right. Well, thanks everyone that's taken the time to listen today. If you are considering booking, please reach out to our reservations team. The details are on the screen, or please contact your preferred travel agent for pricing and availability, and they can book it as well. If you have booked already, you are about to have a trip of a lifetime. There really is nothing truly as spectacular as the Kimberley, and there's no better way, I believe, than to experience it with Coral Expeditions, who've been visiting the Kimberley for 35 years, and we will provide you with the ultimate Kimberley experience the Australian way. So thanks so much, everyone, for taking the time out of your day, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, guys.